In a life marked by resilience, Louis Zamperini went from a troubled youth to an Olympic runner and from a World War II airman to a prisoner of war. His journey is one of endurance, forgiveness, and the unbreakable human spirit. This is the story of Louis Zamperini, a man who faced unimaginable trials and emerged as a symbol of hope. But before we explore today's story, this is Man Friday Fire Pit. If you like this content, please remember to like and subscribe to the channel. And if you have a story that needs to be heard here, maybe drop us a comment down below. Louis Zamperini was born in 1917 to Italian immigrant parents in Torrance, California. A rebellious boy, Louis was often in trouble, but his older brother Pete saw potential in him and encouraged him to channel his energy into running. And running became his passion, transforming him from a troubled youth into a track star with dreams of greatness. Louis's dedication to the sport paid off. At 19, he earned a spot on the US Olympic team, competing in the 1936 Berlin Olympics as a distance runner. Though he didn't win a medal, he made an unforgettable impression, finishing his final lap with a burst of speed that caught the eye of Adolf Hitler himself, who requested to meet him. The future seemed bright for young Louis, but a global conflict was on the horizon. When the United States entered World War II, Louis enlisted in the US Army Air Corps and became a bombardier. Stationed in the Pacific, he flew dangerous missions in the B-24 Liberator. But in 1943, during a search and rescue mission, his plane malfunctioned and crashed into the ocean, leaving Louis and his two crewmates stranded at sea. For 47 days, Louis and his crewmates drifted in a tiny life raft, battling scorching sun, storms and starvation. They fought off sharks with their bare hands and survived on rainwater and raw fish. One of his crewmates didn't make it, but Louis and his pilot, Phil, they held on, determined to survive against all odds. On the 47th day, they were finally spotted by a Japanese patrol boat. Louis was taken to a brutal Japanese prisoner of war camp, where he endured horrific conditions. As a captured American airman, he was singled out and beaten frequently. In one camp, a particularly cruel guard nicknamed the Bird made it his mission to break Louis's spirit, subjecting him to relentless abuse. But Louis refused to surrender his dignity. Despite the starvation, physical torture and daily humiliation, Louis held on to his willpower and refused to let his captors break him. When ordered to hold a heavy beam over his head, he did so for 37 minutes, a feat of defiance that symbolised his inner strength and determination to survive. Finally, in 1945, after years of captivity, Louis was liberated with the end of the war. Returning to America, Louis faced another battle, this time with the haunting memories of his ordeal. Struggling with anger and nightmares, he turned to alcohol to numb the pain. But his life took a turn when he attended a sermon by Reverend Billy Graham. Inspired, Louis found faith and peace, choosing a path of forgiveness rather than vengeance. After years of healing, Louis did something remarkable. He returned to Japan to forgive his former captors, including the Bird, the guard who had tormented him. Although the Bird refused to meet him, Louis forgave him in his heart, finding freedom from his past and a renewed sense of purpose.